Saturday night, it's going down in Sin City, but Max will be working. No play for him. Current WBA, WBO, and IBF light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev will defend his title against former super middleweight titleist Andre Ward in a battle of undefeated fighters. Here's a look at how they match up. Kovalev has the edge when it comes to knockouts, 26-15, but outside of that, they appear to be pretty evenly matched. No better person to ask than Max Kellerman. Max, if Ward wins, will he take over boxing from Floyd Mayweather?
In a competitive sense, yes. I mean, this is a great matchup. It's evenly matched. It's the best matchup you can make in boxing, period. This is the best one. Kovalev is a monster. No one wants to fight this guy. He's knocking everyone out, and Andre Ward is rising in weight to fight him. Andre Ward hasn't lost a fight, amateur or pro, since he was 12 or 13 years old. He won an Olympic gold medal, and that's significant because it's tournament style in the amateurs. You can't pick and choose your opponents, as many do in the pros. You got to face whoever's left standing in the winner's circle. He beat all of them without a loss from the time he was a preteen. Then he turns pro, and it just so happens there's a Super 6 tournament in the middleweight division where, once again, you can't pick and choose. You got to fight whoever's in the winner's circle, and he wins that without a loss. And now, looking for the biggest, baddest dude he can find, he gets Kovalev. Again, a guy no one wants to fight. He's knocking everyone out. So if Ward beats Kovalev, I think he's cemented his status as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, which was Floyd Mayweather's until not long ago. The question, though, is can he translate that to business? Because Floyd, people forget now, earlier in his career, Stephen A., everyone knew he was this great fighter, but he was considered boring, not box office, etc. And later on in his 30s, he proved everyone wrong and became the richest fighter ever. Andre Ward does not have the kind of flamboyant personality Floyd has, and he's also been accused at times of being boring or ruthlessly efficient and effective. So he can take over from Floyd in terms of the pound-for-pound hierarchy. The question is, can he ever generate the business? Maybe not even that Floyd generated, but more business than the other fighters. And the jury's out on that. Those who think it can't happen, I would slow down. Again, consider Floyd was once upon a time considered not big box office. So Andre Ward, even at 32, should he win this fight, could still potentially go on to be involved in big money fights.
My concern about Andre Ward, first of all, I'm scared to death for him. Let me just put it right out there. I'm picking Ward to win this fight by decision. I don't need to hear your prediction, Max, because you're calling a damn fight, okay? I don't want somebody to be ready to punch my partner in the face because he picked against him. Nobody needs to know who you're picking. I'm telling you who I'm picking. I'm picking Ward to win this by decision because I believe in him. I believe in his boxing skills. I believe in his ring savvy. He's got heart. And not only that, I got love for the brother. I don't want to see him get knocked out. And I'm scared to death that Sergey Kovalev is going to knock somebody out like Ward. That, to me, is the only way Kovalev can win this fight. I do not believe he can outbox Andre Ward. I don't believe that will happen. But I do believe anybody could get punched. Okay, anybody can get caught and your body can quiver and it could be lights out. I do not wish that on my man Andre Ward. I got love for him. I'm hoping he will win this fight. But I believe from a skilled boxing perspective, he was always number 2 behind Floyd before he became inactive due to the legal battles with his promoters. Having said that, to answer your question directly, here's where it comes down to. The reason why I don't believe that he can take over boxing is because there's no one out there. Adonis Stevenson, I don't know where the hell he's been hiding. He should have been the one fighting Kovalev. It seems like that's not something he wanted to do. I don't know that for sure, but these are what the folks in boxing are saying. You can answer that in a second, Max. Ward is in there. To me, the only way Ward can take over boxing is to have big fights. And I don't see a mega big fight out there at the light heavyweight division.
Yep.
I
Two
think
things. You're right. Not at light heavyweight.
Or Canelo having to move up.
This has always been Ward's problem. He gets criticized ridiculously for nonsense. So he has a boring style because it's one-sided, because he's always beating everybody by a lot. Or else, oh, there are no interesting opponents. Because instead of ducking opponents for years and years, he goes to the biggest, baddest dude and beats them. And then, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, who's left? You're right, at light heavyweight, there may not be huge money fights. But a fight with Triple G eventually at whatever weight
would
be an enormous fight. And I'll tell you something else that Andre Ward has said to me, Stephen A. Heavyweight wouldn't be out of the picture for him, out of the question for him, if it was the right size fighter against the right guy if the circumstances were right. Ward is going to have to be creative. But as you say,
I don't want him in the heavyweight.
Kovalev is a whole lotta. You can't look past Kovalev because this is a 50-50 kind of fight. It's that good a matchup, folks. This is the best one that can be made at boxing at the moment.
Kovalev can put anybody to sleep in the light heavyweight division or lower. He's somebody that could potentially move up to heavyweight one day if he's successful in a fight of this magnitude because he has the power. Whereas with Andre Ward, I question his power at the light heavyweight division despite the knockout of Chad Dawson. Having said that, if he moved down, and Triple G and Canelo, those kind of dudes, moved up between 165, 168.
Yep.
That's how he could take over boxing,
Real
not
quick.
staying in the light heavyweight division.
Real quick, you know what Floyd Mayweather said about this fight publicly? He thinks that, hey, you shouldn't have gone up to fight Kovalev. That's people trying to get you bumped off. Why move up to fight Kovalev? You should have stayed put and fought Triple G. And Ward said, he admitted, he goes, maybe Floyd's right. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in this fight. It's that tough a fight.
I'll be paying the $69.99 for that, and of course to see Max Kellerman. Can't wait for that one. Yesterday, though, Russell Westbrook was inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. Congrats to him. The legend Michael Jordan presented him at the induction and praised Russell for his loyalty to the city. Take a listen.
I think another thing that you guys should be proud about is the sense of loyalty that this kid has shown to the state of Oklahoma. I'm not here to try to bash anyone that's not here. Everybody has a choice. I'm not saying that you don't have a choice. Everybody has a choice. And when I saw that he chose to stay here in Oklahoma, I was so proud, and as Clay know and as Russ know, I texted him to show a sense of respect.
1 year ago, the Thunder organization gathered in Tulsa to induct Durant into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, and Westbrook was his presenter. Stephen A., were Jordan's comments a little bit of a shot at Durant?
A little bit, no question about it. Whether intended or not, Jordan's not going to care about that. He's not trying to get at somebody like that on purpose, but he is going to say what he feels because Jordan is as real as they come. And there's a level of respect that gets elevated when you see Russell Westbrook making the decision that he made to stay on board, to be committed, to understand that the loss of Kevin Durant is devastating, but he's still going to stay there and fight and fight and fight. Old school cats like Jordan, like Magic, like Isaiah and others respect that, even though they all recognize the fact that free agency back in their day wasn't what it is today. They just could not conceive of joining the other as opposed to fighting against one another. And just to put things in this proper perspective, Max, understand something here. Charles Oakley, for example, is a brother who would take a bullet for Michael Jordan. Patrick Ewing is as tight and as much of a brother to Michael Jordan as almost anybody. Michael Jordan loves rubbing in Patrick Ewing's face and others how he beat them. And he denied them opportunities to win a championship. That's the kind of guy Michael Jordan is. And so when you look at somebody like Russell Westbrook, who is clearly the most ruthless competitor in basketball as far as I'm concerned, he will cut your heart right out of your chest if he could to beat you. Knowing that kind of talent that he is, and considering the commercial that they made months ago, some run, some make runways. There's no other way to interpret this. We understand what it is. I just think that, and you got to remember, the Jordan brand is a part of the Nike brand, and Kevin Durant is represented by Nike, so nobody wants to be but so flagrant with it, but they don't care that much either about stating where they stand and what position they support. Russell Westbrook's that way. Michael Jordan's that way. They know they don't need to speak on it. They know they could leave it for interpretation because they know it's obvious what everybody will interpret it to be. Russell
Westbrook's my favorite player. And he's a lot of people's favorite player precisely because he's a flawed player. The over aggression in him. He's overly aggressive at times is amazing to watch because how often in life do you get to see someone achieve at just about the highest level in the world just unbridled aggression. That's what's driving them. It's something to see. It's something to behold. And so Kevin Durant, unfortunately, is in this situation because we talk about this. Why isn't Kevin Durant greater than Larry Bird? He should be. He's taller, he's faster, better defender, better scorer, really. But no one's taken Durant over Bird because Bird had that at this position. Obviously, LeBron's the greatest small forward who ever lived. I'm talking about who's second. Because Bird was alpha. And that's not KD. KD's personality seems to be the kind of guy, not like Jordan, not like Bird, not like Magic, the kind of guy who wants to fit in and be part of a team. Just naturally, that's what he wants to be, seems to me. And I find that interesting. I'd like to live in a world where that there can be an exception to the rule. Where, hey, look at that, Kevin Durant won championships and he didn't do it the way everyone else did it. But it's his misfortune that he is going to be compared and contrasted with a guy who is emblematic more than anyone else of the Jordan, Kobe, Bird kind of ruthless mentality, which is Westbrook. It's not like KD was just on a team with another great competitor who's also a great player. He's on a team with the competitor, with the force of nature, Russell Westbrook, with the guy whose personality makes him somehow more than the sum of his parts. And that's who he's going to be compared to. So Jordan doesn't even have to be aiming at KD, nor does anyone else. They just need to be telling the truth about Russell Westbrook. Because when you tell the truth about Westbrook, it feels like a shot at KD. How can it not? It's just KD's misfortune that he was on that guy's team and that's the dynamic. And from now on till the end of time, when people talk about Westbrook and his qualities that we most admire, in this case, loyalty to the franchise, ruthless aggression, ultimate competitor, alpha personality, gonna sound like you're taking a shot at KD. How else can it sound?
Yeah, it sounds that way, but do you think that's what Jordan was doing?
No, I think he's just trying to compliment Westbrook. That's my point. Ged, right now, talk about Westbrook, Stephen A. Smith, and make it not sound like you're taking a shot at KD. It's hard, right? I mean, it's hard.
It's definitely hard, but we also have to take into consideration who we're talking about here when we talk about Michael Jordan. The ultra competitor, the ultra assassin, somebody that comes at you and is unapologetic about it, but never spoke about it. When he had wars with the New York Knicks and Jeff Van Gundy particularly, he never said anything. He balked at Jeff Van Gundy. You knew that, but he never said anything. When he went at Clyde Drexler and literally destroyed Clyde Drexler, okay, whether it be in the NBA Finals or in practice during the Olympics or whatever the case may be. He never spoke against Clyde Drexler. He just exercised it, okay? When he went up against the Detroit Pistons and the Bad Boys and what they were trying to do to him and what have you, he left the complaining to other individuals. He went out there and tried to take them out, but at the same time, he didn't speak against them. When Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons walked off the court prematurely, which was a black mark against that franchise, and it was much more into that meets the eye, and everybody should go back and watch the 30 for 30 that was done on the Bad Boy Pistons because that explains a lot. Nevertheless, what did Jordan say after that? Jordan didn't have much to say. Jordan is notorious for saying a lot by not saying much. And that's what it was. It's one thing for Russell Westbrook to be inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. It's another thing for MJ to introduce him. And not only to introduce him, and he should, by the way, because Russell Westbrook is like a signature brand for the Jordan brand with what he brings to the table, but to go up there and to introduce him and to say, I'm not here to knock anybody. Yeah, Jordan's not necessarily trying to knock him per se, but at the same time, we are talking about Jordan, who has a profound level of respect, exponentially higher for Russell Westbrook and his actions than Kevin Durant and his actions. It's unavoidable.
Fair enough.